back in the day, like you say, you guys were pretty innovative in terms of what you were doing then. Who do you then look up to as innovators in the world of hockey, as in who's going to be like the next innovators in the next kind of, I don't know, 2 to 5 years? So the next kind of Olympic cycle, who do you think are going to be like real innovators, either in the independent side of hockey or club or international scene? Like, who do you think the next kind of innovators are going to be, excluding yourself, obviously?
I don't know what to say. I'm kidding. So just to answer the first part of your question, or because I think it's relevant about how we try to be in the edge of the originality. We tried. Well, first of all, I think that the first person we saw doing this kind of stunts was this German guy called Shinty. I don't know if you saw.
I remember. Tricks, I remember those back in the day. Really they were so sick.
I think that was the original inspiration for our skillers, actually. And it's a pity that we really don't know anything about the guy. We tried already to have some contact with him, like it would be amazing to do something with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Somehow, part of what we do, and of course we just expand in different ways, but I think it's a bit of his legacy, because he was the first person, as far as I know, to grab a camera and to film some really weird, exotic things. But so to tell you what we did, we had. So it's again the balance that I try to explain you between having almost a business mind, responsibility and behavior. Like we had concrete days that we would get together to film, different responsibilities for each other, different content management that we would like to have. Timings, we started to understand timings and days and how different time zones and different fans reacted to different content. We tried to adapt a little bit about that, and we learned a lot about that. So basically, a day for us would be we would go to the pitch, and then I would just start filming, and then the boys would just start fooling around, and we just discussed, and then sometimes they would come out, I saw this tennis video or this and this. So it was very important for me and for us that somehow inside of a certain structure, it was as organic as it could be. So that was one thing for us, that there wasn't a pressure like, hey Mike, you have 1 hour to come up with a tweak. It was more like you have an entire day, and hopefully after 100 takes we will get that take. And then I think in that we were also very professional, because we would try to get the right take and not really cut scenes. And it was always very important for us that you do the right trick and the right combination, and then in one take. So I think we have hundreds of hours of footage. And now to answer your concrete question, which I think is really difficult. So you mean more in terms of not only in terms of social media stuff, but also as a coach and player and so on?
Yeah.
I think I see the projects like this stuff that you are doing now, and I see a lot of cool podcasts which are really nice and help, because we don't know much about coaches or players. And now in this last 3 weeks we had an avalanche of content, webinars, podcasts, everything, which is good, of course. It is good, but we need to learn how to filter now and how to find the right timing to absorb everything. I'm trying to give you the more concrete answer possible and the most interesting as possible, but I don't come up with big names. I like what Scored is doing in terms of their fantasy league stuff.
Yeah,
we are supporting them.
Yeah, and I think School are really good because what they did at the Europeans was so interactive for so many people. That was really, really cool.
Yeah. I think they have a similar passion and vibe like the one you have or we have, and we are talking about that.
Yeah.
I think their challenge and I think they are in that stage of touching the ground and understanding exactly in which direction they want to go, because I'm nobody to give them any kind of advice. They go in the direction they want to go, but they started with an intention, with a project, and I see they experiment different projects. So I hope they find a way for them to be as successful as they possibly want to be, and somehow find projects that are useful for our sport. So they could be an example about that. I think if you think about organizations or events, I think Euro Hockey League, EHL, was for me, he set the standards in terms of innovation in the game. And I feel that they could even go further, but of course they are in between an international calendar. They are in between different countries with different domestic leagues and demands. So I feel now, and don't take me wrong, that they could do even more. They could keep being more innovative, but I understand if they have some limitation as well. So, and then in terms of figures, I cannot say myself, right? I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But there are some really cool players. Let me give you some names. For instance, I think, of course, you have this legacy of Dutch female players such as Helen Hogue and Naomi Van As, and before Fatima Moreira de Melo, and they broke the mold of only hockey players. I think they went a bit further of that. Luciana Aymar, it's a big example of that.
Yeah.
And we miss that kind of huge god-like figures, I think, now.
I think you've got Gigi from the Spanish team, who's pretty exceptional. She's somebody who I feel in the Europeans really kind of, again, tore up the rule book a little bit and was doing stuff just on a different level to a lot of the other players in the Europeans.
And strong character as well. Nice girl, woman. So she's of course she's in that group of people. And then I like. I think you also have this girl, Juli Rancunas from Argentina. She's also very popular. She's a very young, big talent, and I think she becomes also kind of a pop kind of celebrity in Argentina. So she has a lot of followers. I cannot tell you now by heart, but I think she's massive. And then you have two persons, well, more than two, but two persons that are a bit closer to me that I find they represent something good in hockey. That is Jorrit Kroon from the Netherlands and Victor Vegnier from Belgium.
Oh yeah, he's
from different reasons, you know. And maybe if you want and if we have time, I can try to briefly tell you.
Yeah, go for it.
They are important. I think Jorrit is a guy that he's a typical good-looking, blonde, Dutch stereotypical, how do you say, son-in-law you want to have. But which ticks a lot of boxes, of course, in our sport, or particularly in our European, the way we look at the sport here in Europe. But he's also very easygoing, charismatic, humble guy, besides being a very creative, exciting kind of guy. So I think he represents something nice, and I tell you what, often we talk, and he's really the guy that is always like, okay, Bernardo, what can we do? What can I do more? And what can we do more? Which kind of projects I can do more, or we could do more.
Amazing.
So he's not only looking to his own situation, he loves the game, and he's always reacting behind the scenes in the projects we do or in the videos we do. So I think can be an important guy in the future. He is already important. And then you have other figure that is Victor Regnier, that is, wow, it's a massive guy, right? Yeah. And what is nice, or what is, I think what is more special about him is that he comes from a non-typical hockey background, you know, like he really needed to make his way up, and he doesn't come from a background or a context that all his family was playing hockey, like a wealthy background. So the guy just came to hockey. We are lucky that he just landed in hockey. So, and now he represents the most committed guy in the pitch, the most fearless guy in the pitch, but very charismatic, and a figure that everybody adores, you know, and there is so much energy around him that nobody's indifferent about him. And I think it's difficult for anyone to say like, that guy, I don't know that guy, or I don't like that guy. So,
yeah. And
sorry.
No, I was going to say, and I feel like Van Doren's in that same kind of category. It's almost like that. I never hear a bad word about De Nooijer, and I feel like Wegener and the other are of that same ilk, where nobody has a bad word to say about them, and they're really trying to set the world alight in terms of what they're doing on the pitch and just work so incredibly hard. It's great to see that next generation of players kind of really stepping through the game.
I think Van Doren is like a sublime player, you know. It's really it's out of this world, his quality, you know, his vision, his passing ability. I think he has that game charisma for sure. That when you think about our top players now, and you know, that's no coincidence that he won the last prizes for the best player in the world. But I would just like, and I think this in general, and that's also why I appreciate Wegener's position in the game so much. I would like a bit more roughness, street vibe, and a bit like the guy next door, or like a bit, I would not say street vibe, because that's so used now, and I don't totally agree with hockey needs to go to the street. We need to be a bit careful about. We very often relate our sport with other sports, but each sport has its own complexity and its own characteristics. And for certain sports, you need to go to the street. Maybe for hockey, I don't know, but that's another topic. So, but the only remark I would like to do is, and that's why I think Wegener is so special, because Wegener appeals for the well-settled, higher level social class of hockey, but he also appeals for the person that comes from a lower social layer, and then he's just like a hard worker, has passion for the game. He says whatever he thinks in a articulated way. So there's a different appeal, roughness that I really like on him, and then I hope we go a little bit more in that direction in terms of vibe, in terms of identity.